Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how
He's alive!
Welcome to where the weird ones are.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Powerful figures in Hollywood as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards or perhaps extraterrestrials.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.
Let's get weird.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to the show. This is where the weird ones are, and I am your host. My name is Kevin. Thank you very much. I would like for you to introduce my co-host who's actually here this time. Her name is Tanya. She's my sister. Tanya, say hi.
Hi.
Is that it?
Would you like more?
Very, very good intro. Good for you. Good job. Well done.
Thought it was good.
I mean, you got a standing ovation. There was applause there, man.
You are such a loser. Oh my God.
Am I, though?
You are. I've known you for 32 years. You've pretty much always been a loser. So yeah.
Anyways, so today on the podcast, we have 305 Paranormal, Jen and Mondo. They are a lovely married couple. It was a phenomenal conversation. I definitely enjoyed speaking with them. And on that note, I just want to say happy birthday, Mondo. Tanya, what'd you think?
Okay, first of all, yes, happy birthday, Mondo. 'Cause as he said, his birthday will be the Monday before this podcast comes out. And wait, what was I talking about? Oh, what did I think?
What'd you think? Yes, geez, what the fuck, man?
Sorry. Well, I thought they were a lot of fun. This was a really fun conversation. They were fun and funny.
Yes, I agree. So they're from Miami, Florida, and I believe it was what was it called? It was Wartime Paranormal.
Was it word? I don't.
Pretty sure that's what they said. It was.
Well, we'll find out when we listen.
Well, you guys will find out when you listen.
Yes. Keep you in suspense.
Yeah, because Jen mentions it a few times. So I just want to say that Jen has a lot of experiences. So Mondo didn't really experience anything until him and Jen were together. He was kind of sort of like not really in tune with it. So you'll get to hear a lot of that. I do want to note that Mondo definitely seems on the creative side. He says that he paints sneakers, which I actually am interested in checking out. But also, Jen is really good at making their videos, and she made their logo. So you should definitely check them out on Instagram. They go by 305 Paranormal on all accounts, like TikTok, Instagram, and all that. So you should check them out. If I was to, if I was a big company, I would definitely back them. That a lot of their videos they're really intriguing and they're fun, and I enjoy them, and I think everybody else will enjoy them. So, Tanya.
Yes, sir.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm picking lint off of my leggings.
Oh, well, all right. So do you know the story about Robert the doll?
Vaguely. Um, I know I used to know it well, but it was because it's been around for years.
Yeah.
But I know it's a doll that's possessed and moves on its own, and it's like a little like I think he's in like a sailor outfit.
Yeah.
And he's like an attraction now. I know they made a movie about him with um Maggie from The Walking Dead, and she's like a nanny, and she's taking care of this doll like it's their son. And
No,
no,
no. So
that's not
Robert the
it.
doll, it inspired the Chucky franchise,
Yeah, well, I know that, but I know that they
but
also made
no,
the movie that was inspired by
the
like,
boy with. So you're talking
yeah,
about the boy, but
is that not
the
it?
the doll is not alive.
Well, yes, I know that, but don't, excuse me, first of all, people haven't seen the movie, so
Oh
don't give
my
it away.
God, that movie is so old at this point. Like, fucking, if you haven't seen it by now, then you're living under a rock.
Okay, excuse me.
Especially if you like horror movies. Like, come on
First
now.
of all, I understand that, but I'm saying that I believe that the story of Robert the Doll was the inspiration for that movie.
You think so?
You know what? I'm gonna look it up because I know
So
there was a movie and I think it was that one. And screw
Robert
you.
the doll is in a museum on Key West, out in Key
Yeah,
West.
he is. He's an alien.
You
He's
have to ask him permission to take
mhm.
his picture, or else you will get bad luck. You cannot touch him. A lot of people say they see him gulping, like swallowing.
That's
Uh,
fucking creepy.
yeah, that is creepy. Um, but I guess there's a shit ton of people that have wrote letters and sent them to the museum for Robert, asking for his forgiveness because they've got such bad luck. And
Yeah, I've heard that too.
yeah, and Ozzy Osbourne blames Robert the doll for his Parkinson's disease. Did you know that?
Oh no, I did
So
not.
Ozzy Osbourne just recently was diagnosed. I don't know if it was recently actually, but I know he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and he had so Jack. I don't know if you know. Do you know that? So Jack Osborne is actually like a paranormal investigator now.
Oh, weird. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I believe they have a show. I mean, I don't know if he has a paranormal show, but they still had like a show for the Osbournes, and
Mhm.
he gave his dad like a replica of Robert the doll, and he had thrown it to the ground. He's like, I don't want this bloody shit. What the fuck? Blah 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 blah. And he said because he did that, Robert the doll gave him bad luck, and that's how he got Parkinson's disease.
Ah, interesting.
So
That's fucked up.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I do you remember the doll that I used to have? The baby Sylvia doll.
No, I remember you having a shit ton of dolls.
Yeah, well, I had one baby Sylvia doll that I was like in love with. She was like I took her everywhere, and she was like my favorite doll. And she was one of those dolls that like her eyes like opened and shut and opened and shut, and I'm pretty sure she was haunted.
Yeah, why?
Because there were a couple times that I could have sworn like because like I said, like she was one of the dolls that her eyes open and close, but her eyes were only supposed to go up and down. But like I would be like walking through my room and her eyes were like I could have sworn
Mm,
I saw her eyes like following me sideways and scared the shit out of me. And then I got rid of her. I'm not scared of dolls, but like when my doll's eyes start following me around the room,
yeah,
that's a little fucky.
yeah, yeah. I was always scared of your room because of all your dolls. So,
Well, that was the only one that was haunted, and you're just a wimp.
oh, that's true. So I watched Child's Play when I was 4.
Why? Our parents are bad parents.
No, well, so our parents were playing cards with Uncle Ronnie, Grandpa, Grammy, and stuff, and we were at Uncle Ronnie's, and Uncle Harlan was there. Rob Lynn was the one that put it on. So my cousin Rob Lynn, I feel like may have purposely put this horror movie on because she did laugh at me a couple times when I was hiding under the blanket. So the blanket that I hid under is one of those knitted ones with the holes in it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those little tiny ones that mom and Graham and stuff would knit for us. Well, there was a part that was coming up and I went and I put it over my head and I could still see everything that was happening on the TV and I was like, no.
Good job. Good job.
Robalyn was sitting right next to me and she would get under the blankets with me every once in a while and then she thought it was hilarious. So I don't know if she was actually scared too or if she just thought it was funny that I was scared.
Oh, she probably just thought it was funny that you were scared because you were kind of a wimp. So.
Yeah.
Ooh, spooky.
All right. So, anybody that has a story that they would like to come onto this podcast, share with myself and my sister, we could talk about whatever you want to talk about, anything that you experience, even if you don't think that it's an actual experience and it's just weird and you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. You can get me on where the weird ones are at gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram at where_ the weird ones are. And you can also follow my sister on Instagram under T Sapiel. It's TSAPIEL. Tanya, you have any closing statements before the good people watch this phenomenal episode with Jen and Mondo?
No, but I would like you to enunciate better because it sounds like you're saying Jenna Mondo, and
Jen and
Mondo. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Appreciate.
Jen.
Don't fuck with me.
And Mondo.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, let's get weird.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Buenos tardes. Estoy con Jen and Mondo.
Wow. Hey, awesome.
Very good. I love
So,
it.
Jen and Mondo are 305 Paranormal. They're out of Miami, Florida.
Mhm.
They join us here on the podcast today to talk about some of their experiences. And yeah, so Tanya, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Good,
Hey,
good
Tanya.
job. Good job. Learning words. All right. So, Jen and Mondo, what got you guys into investigating?
So investigation, I've always had paranormal experiences since I was little. So when kind of like a door opened for me to like join a team, we went to like what did you call it? Like an event at some place called the Deering Estate back in like 2018. And I followed one of the team members there. And just so happens on Instagram one day, he was like, "Hey, we're looking for team members." And I was like, I didn't think about it. I had literally just had my second baby at that time. So I was like, whatever. And then like a week later, I'm like, it's in my head, like nagging me, like, email these people, email them. And I was like, sitting on my couch one day. I was like, I'm just gonna email them, and they're like, yeah, meet us at the cemetery, and that's kind of like where they interview people. So they interview me, and they try to see me out there, like how I would mesh or like what I would do or whatever, like if I even know anything related. So I had a trial run for like 30 days, and then I officially joined the team then. So that would have been in like April of 2019. And then he was like, I want to go with you because since he knows paranormal more because of me being with me already.
Right.
He was like, I want to go to these events and stuff like that. And we like going to Universal Studios, like Halloween Horror Nights, all that shit. So we like scary movies and all that shit anyways. So he's like, I want to go and I want to experience that. And he liked the event that we did in the first place. And we just started tagging along. And then Scotty, the team leader of War Party Paranormal, the actual team we're with, she was like, I thought he's like part of the team already. So yeah, he's fine. I was like, all right, I guess you're part of the team now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I kind of shoot him in there. I don't know.
I got in the team. I got in the team because I actually had an experience. So it's one thing seeing it, you know, on TV or hearing Jenny tell me about her stories, and then it's another thing like actually experiencing something. So
yeah, for sure.
You know, we had a location. Well, we had a house that we were staying at, and playing PS3, waiting for Jenny to get home, and I'm playing, and I was sitting on a futon. For those of you that don't know, a futon is pretty much like a couch that can fold into like a bed, and it has metal springs. So I'm playing, and it went from one screen to another where the screen, it just lowered the volume or it cut it off completely. And then all of a sudden I hear the springs going down. And I look over and I can see the impression of kind of like legs and a butt.
But
Oh shit!
I want to know whose butt.
Ghost butt. I don't know. Hashtag ghost butt. So I see that, and Kevin and Tanya, I feel on this side of my body like if I had walked into like a freezer, like in a restaurant, you know, those like walk-in coolers. It felt just like that, super cold. And then at that point, I'm having an experience, don't know what to say or do. So normal reaction, act like nothing is going on. Just say, I'm playing my PS3.
Nothing's wrong here.
Nothing to see here, guys. And then Jenny always makes fun of me because this is our first kind of conversation of what happened to me. So I tell her, hey, I need to talk with you. She's like, hey, let's go do groceries. You want to go to Walmart? I hate going to Walmart because it's always busy.
He hates Walmart.
But I was like, yes, let's go to Walmart, please. So we go, and then literally the second we step foot into Walmart, babe, you'll never believe what happened to me.
I'm like every time we went to a store, he was like, so I didn't want to tell you in the house, but this and this happened. I was like, does it make a difference? I'm pretty sure Spirit's like, oh, I heard you, Mondo. Like, I'll get you when you come back here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, I think Spirit just knows, period. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if it was like one of those, you know, like silly things when you were a kid, like, oh my God, there's a spooky monster. Let me hide under a blanket because that's my safe spot.
Back then, you didn't know. It's like, you know, you didn't know anything really about the paranormal. But
like, I'm safe here.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, I used to have to go down to the basement every once in a while at my grandparents' house. And when I was down there, I'd be like, I would sit there and all of a sudden I'd be scared because I think there's a ghost with me, and I'd go, don't hurt me. I'm just down here to get this. And then I'd start singing because I think if I'm singing that they won't hurt me.
That's a good technique. I'm going to try that.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Everybody has like, they're like, what would you call that? Like, kind of like, they're just like, not defense mechanism or something, like just.
That's actually what I was thinking.
Like
defense
a comfort
mechanism.
Yeah, like something like, sometimes I find myself doing some dumbass shit like that too. Like, I can tell when there's like a presence here, or it's like something's like watching me. And I don't know, he'll be sleeping out, and I'll just be like I can't sleep, and I just feel like I'm like, all right. I was like, just get over it, do something or some shit or whatever your message is, or leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'll do like certain things where I'll eventually try to like comfort myself to just like ignore it and like go to sleep. Everybody does that, you know. So Don't feel bad
Yeah.
at all.
And then so I get on to the team, or I kind of finagle my way in.
Yeah.
And the very first location that I go to, unfortunately, no longer exists due to vandals destroying the place.
Yeah.
It really sucks. But it was called the Belgrades Correctional Facility. So it was an abandoned prison.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a particular night that we went and we investigated a cathedral. And it was myself, Jenny, and Scotty, who she had mentioned earlier, or one of our team leaders. And I'm walking, and Kevin, I feel like something pumped the brakes on me. I could not move, and it was super cold. Brought me back to my first experience with the cold, but I felt cold all over my body. And like I couldn't move. The only thing I can say was, Jenny, come here, Jenny,
come here,
please.
now.
So I come, and I was stuck in place, but it was cold. It was super cold. And then she was like within 2 to 3 feet from me. She's like, hey, it's getting colder. And she touches me, and she's like, you're freezing. She sees the goosebumps on me, and then she calls over Scotty.
Yeah.
And Scotty was like,
and she's, I mean, skeptic forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we call her like the paranormal brick. Like, nothing fucks with her for some reason. Like, if she's there, probably shit stops. Yeah. They're like, fuck this, and we're out. You know, we didn't want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like literally, like she's a shield. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, yeah, that is cool. Like for her to even say it, and I was like, all right.
Now, keep in mind, do remember that I said in the beginning, well, towards the beginning of this story, this is an abandoned prison. So it's hot. No electricity, no AC, nothing. So for it to be cold,
that's very odd.
Unexplainable. Yeah. But you know what? It was awesome too, because I got one of the questions that I had going into this answered, as far as what was it that I experienced that time playing PS3. I got my answer. But it just so happens to be, and it's funny, I had this conversation with my other teammates and just other folks in the field. It feels like I have more questions than answers.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, well, just don't get down on yourself. Just continue going. Maybe you'll get the answers that you're looking for. So that's kind of what keeps me motivated and doing this, is trying to get the answers that I have.
Right. So that first experience on the couch, did you feel any kind of like paralysis, or it was just like, I'm too scared to acknowledge this, so I'm just going to continue playing? Like, did you freeze at all?
It was like shock, but at the same time, the only thing I moved really was my head, and I was just like, nope, I'm gonna keep playing. Let's act like it's not here, or like blanket. I'm in my safe zone.
Yeah, like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes, I mean, I guess sometimes I'm like, it didn't happen. Like, thinking it'll go away like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that house was, and we live literally down the street from that location now.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, my friend, he doesn't live there anymore. They moved. But we used to roommate with him when we were like saving up for our wedding and stuff like that back in the day. And yeah, man, that house was fucking nuts. Like, I used to house sit for him before I even lived in there.
Oh,
and
no shit.
Yeah, so at that point we were just dating or whatever. I was like, oh, come meet me at my friend's house or whatever. We had the pool for the weekend, dope ass house.
Pool, barbecue. This guy had a huge TV.
Everything.
Nice.
And yeah, and I'll be like, dude, I mean, the craziest shit is in the house. Like, so there's a thing called like when you get like a spiritual attack. So maybe, so there was, so they made, I think they conjured something up at that house unintentionally.
Right.
But they did, you know what I'm saying, for the most part.
That's usually how it happens. It's unintentional.
Yeah. They were trying to do something good, but at doing that, you're opening up a portal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was the trade-off, or the consequence.
It was the
their
consequence,
actions,
for sure.
Right.
And so that stayed there, that lingered there. And then since I have been able to see spirits or experienced that since I was little, they're probably like, oh, this bitch can see us, let's mess with her. So maybe they don't, they don't like that. Because even his mom at that back in the day, she was like, oh, you might run into like, she called it the Hat Man, kid you not. And that's a creepy pasta, you know what I'm saying? So, and I eventually did experience that guy. I almost kicked him off I literally rolled his ass off the bed. Like he like off the bed because that shit was like right on top of me at one point, like hovering.
Wow.
I saw it coming closer to me, and I've experienced sleep paralysis before, like a few times in my life. It has been like weird times in my life. And I just did not. I was like, bro, this guy comes on top of me, like that might happen, and I don't want to deal with that shit. And when the way I saw it, like at one point he was like, that thing was hovering like on top of me where it just was black. It's black, but blacker than black. And I ran him off the bed. He's like, he was sleeping. He was like, what? And I was like, the fucking shit's on top of me. I'm like, what the hell? And then it was crazy. But there's like a lot of stuff happened there. But I used to get like nightmares.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew something was trying to mess with me, because like it, it showed me like dying. It in another nightmare, it like kind of say my mom basically, she morphed into like a demon.
Right.
That shit like traumatized me. Like it was horrible. That's a horrible like image. And another time I had like, it was a hag, and it was like attacking him. It was weird because I kind of think that was kind of happening. Like I saw it play out. That almost played out almost like an astral travel type of thing, where he was actually sleeping in the room of the futon. So we had like a 2-bedroom split.
Yeah.
And at that time, I don't know, I think we got it a fight night or some shit. And he was sleeping on the other room. And I was in the main bedroom by myself that night. And I dreamt like if I was watching him in that room starting to get attacked by like, it was a hag. I mean, there's nothing else I can explain it. And she had like long ass claws. She was starting to like scratch him and mess him up. And I was trying to stop her. And then I woke myself up and I freaked out. Like I go over to the room looking at him to see like how he was okay or whatever. And like I kind of woke him up. And it's funny too, because every time I wake him up, he's like, whoa. You know, saying he's like, what? And I was like, come on over, you just fuck this shit. Just sleep back with me or whatever, because I feel like I had to like protect him almost, you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy because I was getting like all this info, you know what I'm saying?
That's how you know she loves me. She was willing to protect me even though she was mad.
Right. Yeah.
And I never seen that thing again. And when we moved out of there, yeah, those type of dreams, at least those very like bad ones, I've never had anything. As soon as I stepped out of that house, like we moved out, I've never had that shit again. It's insane.
Yeah, and in that house, I experienced my first. It was a disembodied, and it was also like something that was able to mimic. So
no way.
I heard like our friend, like if he was there, nothing. I heard our friends. No, you
would hear me. You would think,
yeah,
which I'm pretty sure maybe that's happened to
like,
you.
Babe.
Yeah, like if
babe, come here, babe. And she was in the bathroom, changing to like pajamas to go to bed.
Yeah.
So I was like about to get out of bed to go see what was going on, and she's like, "Well, where are you going?" I'm like, "Hey, you asked, you were calling me, so I assumed you needed help or something, or you fell." She's like, "I didn't call you. What are you talking about?"
Yeah. So that's one of the first things I told him when we were like together. I was like, whenever you hear like, like if I'm calling you or if anybody's calling you, don't ever answer what, because I was told that as a child, because that used to happen to me all the time. And they were like, and I used to be like, gay. I'll tell my mom, gay, or what, to whoever. And they were like, no, don't answer that. And then I found out what it was. But this is when like I was really small, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe 8 or 9 or some shit. And so then whoever I went, I kind of like passed that on, you know what I'm saying? I said, like, hey, if you ever hear that I'm calling you, just come up to me and be like, did you, something happened? Did you call me? No? Okay. Just, right out basically.
And it was so strange because it mimicked her like perfectly.
And you learned that.
Kind of got like the sense of urgency. Like, did she, like fall, or, did she hurt herself somehow? So that's why I was like pretty much coming to rescue type thing. And yeah. And then I was on the phone with you. I was coming back from work at where I was working at the time, and she's like, I just heard our friend's niece
Oh no, that was
through the baby
freaking
monitor.
crazy. You don't even
And
know.
I kind of heard it, but she heard it better, obviously, because she
No.
was there.
What?
I was the only person in the house.
Right. She was the only person in the house, though. That was the catch.
Oh my God.
So
And you were hearing a child through the baby monitor?
So to break that story down real quick. So every once in a while on the weekend, so I at that point I worked in the afternoon and I would go into work at 12:30. At that point, nobody was in the house because everybody works like a regular like morning shift type of thing. And I came back from jogging, and that house is a 2-story house. So once in a while, so that they had a niece that had like problems, like literally, let's just say like she was what do you call like not like a vegetable state, but just disabled completely. You know what I'm saying? So they had a baby monitor when on sometimes if say they were downstairs in the kitchen and they can hear her, you know what I'm saying, if something was going on. So I just came in from jogging. I was in the kitchen. I don't know what the hell I was getting, maybe like water or something. And there the main hub of the monitor was there. And then I know what she sounds like, you know. So I thought maybe she was there. Like I heard like a like, you know, some crazy ass shit. And I was just like, oh, Crystal's here. That's what I said. So I was like, okay. And I didn't think anything of it. At that point, while I'm still in the kitchen, it's a clear view from like the front door. And I see my friend walk in and he was like, hey. And I was like, hey. I was like, Crystal's here. She was like, who? And I was like, Crystal. He was like, Crystal's not here this weekend, you know? And because that's his brother's daughter.
Right.
And then he comes in with him, then his mom comes trailing in behind him. And I was like, where'd you guys come from? He's like, no, we just came from BJ's, or you know, BJ's is kind of like a Costco.
Yep.
And then and I'm looking, I was like, so who's here? And he's like, nobody's here, you're by yourself. And I was like, what? So I like ran upstairs to see this, and like, yeah, no, I was by myself. I was like, oh God.
There's one little tidbit as well. That baby monitor was off.
Yeah, I didn't even like bother to look at that shit. Yeah. I just assumed like automatically I heard it. I didn't think anything.
The screen is on.
You know
the screen is on, and she heard the voice through it, and I heard it over the phone, but it was on the off position.
Wow.
Explain that.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, gross.
So that instance that where you had that dream there with the woman with claws attacking Mondo, that sounds like a Jekyll demon. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Like, I mean, do they resemble like?
They look like women with claws.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, that's what it. I can tell. I know it was a female, and she had like long, like straggly ass hair or something. I don't know. And I mean, but her claws were ridiculous.
Yeah. So I almost kind of wonder if they were like projecting that in your mind to be like, yo, this is gonna happen. This is some shit that's gonna go down if you don't do something, kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know. Something to think about anyway. So with that dream, did he ever have like any marks on him at all? Or did you just wake him up and he was fine?
I woke him up and I kind of looked. I actually asked him before, like, did you feel anything? Were you dreaming anything? Because I try to like get into his brain also, but that I know of, he told me no. I don't know.
Yeah, no, for the most part, I had just
he barely even dreams.
Blackness.
Yeah.
Or like the worst dream that I have is falling. I'm just falling.
Yeah, I hate
falling. It's like
I never had that until I had one at that house, and it never happened to me again.
Oh wow!
No, I've never had that type of dream.
And I remember and it's funny thinking about it being awake, but when I have that falling dream, I'm screaming, and it just gets to the point that I'm just like over screaming. So I'm just like, all right, whatever happens, man. But I just think about it like being tired of screaming.
Not stop.
I have those dreams every once in a while. I actually accidentally hit my ex-girlfriend in the face because I was falling and I went like that and I was waking at the same time and I went like that and whacked her in the face. She's like, what the fuck?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
my
It
bad.
wasn't me.
I was
and
like,
then-
"No, I'm just kidding. That was not me. I mean, it was, but I was sleeping.
Not intentionally. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, Jen, you said that you have had a lot of experiences throughout your life. I was wondering if you can recall the first ever experience you've had.
The first one that, like, yeah, I mean, I remember the first one that like just really like stuck with me, and there's stuff that still happened around that same time frame,
Mhm.
but this would be like what what threw me off basically was so one night, I don't know if I mentioned before, but I'm an only child, so
Yep.
that's it, no siblings or whatever. And then so my room, say like my room is here, and then there's a wall here, and I have my bed against the wall, and this would be my parents' room. One night when I was going to sleep, I didn't sleep yet because it takes me forever to go to sleep, but I guess I fell asleep. I woke up, and I woke up to like the there was a closet on my right hand side. The door was kind of like closed a little bit, but the light's always on. I always told my mom to keep the lights on because I was freaked out. Um, I saw what was it's not an orb, but it's called an orb. But it was like the size between like a softball, which is pretty big, not like a
Yep.
regular fucking orb you see on video,
Right.
and between a softball and a volleyball. So like that.
Wow.
Ish. So inside was really deep blue, but then it faded out like a lighter blue. And I still don't know what that is. Like I would love to like maybe get like on a portal one day and like ask about that, or I haven't done that, but I do want to do that. And I saw that. So I'm just like in bed and I'm just like, okay, like confused, I didn't know what that was. And it didn't move, but I felt like something was like staring at me.
Mhm.
Or maybe I just felt like that because I'm looking at that shit. And then eventually I was like, I closed my eyes. I try to do the thing like we all do when we're kids. We're like, okay, maybe it'll go away if I like close my eyes. And then like I open my eyes again. I'm like, it's still there. I'm like, it's not going away. Okay. So like I just kind of like slid out of bed, and then like I ran to the door. And normally I would call my mom every night to sleep with me. At some point that night, she didn't budge. It's almost like, no, you're gonna deal with
Experience this.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, mommy, at the door. I'm like, open the door, come here, come in. And then my dad was like, go away. And I was like, what's happening? So I didn't even go to sleep that night. Like I literally stayed in like their bathroom. But their bathroom was like outside of the room. So I just kind of like stayed there like the rest of the night. And I started getting like things like that. At that point, I was in second grade because I remember getting like they had like a parent teacher conference, because I would fall asleep in the class. The whole time in the class, I was dead asleep. Like I wouldn't remember half a shit because I couldn't sleep at night. Or not, if I was gonna sleep at night, I would sleep in like their bathroom floor. Like, they didn't even know what the hell was going on. They were like, and then I had a creepy ass bathroom, like a Jack and Jill room.
Yep.
And that bathroom creeped me out because I kept hearing like, if I would like I was taking a shower, I hear like voices. So at one point I would just like take a bath with the curtains open just to see like who the fuck is talking.
Yeah.
And then she would be like, oh, take a bath. My mom would be like, get ready, go take a shower. I was like, I'm not taking a shower there. No, you have to take a shower there. I was like, I'm gonna take a shower in your guys' bathroom. I'm like fighting with my parents like at this point. And they're like, no. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just not gonna take a shower, period. Like, we're not doing this. Like, it was bad. It was crazy. But yeah, I kind of like learned to deal with it, I guess.
Oh yeah. The house that I live in now, I hear things when I'm in the shower as well, but I think it's my dog. So there was one day where I heard like footsteps coming in, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I opened my curtain, and my dog is just laying right next to the tub. And I was like,
so
oh fuck, she scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, I don't have any pets.
So, are you guys religious at all? Do you claim any religion?
I grew up Catholic, so and I still pray to like Archangel Michael, and
Mm-hmm.
like I still pray to God and baby Jesus and stuff. But I've tend to like, growing older, my mom is like super religious. Like I used to be like in a church choir type thing,
Oh no
and I
shit.
used to, yeah. Don't ask me to sing. But I suck. But she would, if it's not going like twice a week, for sure every Sunday, like at the crack of dawn. And I'm like, why can't it be like 12 o'clock mass? Why does it have to be like 8 o'clock in the morning mass? Like,
Yeah.
you know, everybody's sleeping, you know, whatever. And she's still like she's still like that. She's always been like that.
Right.
But when I moved out, like if I wanted to go to church, I would just go myself. If I wanted to, I really haven't gone to church like that. Like I don't know if her being like super religious like that and trying to like implement that deter me from that. And
Yeah.
then I just growing up, you kind of feel like religion in any aspect is more like a control thing. So I don't feel I had to be anywhere or like be sitting at church to like for God to hear me or
Right.
whoever you're praying to hear you. You know what I'm saying? Like you
I
can
feel
be
you.
anywhere in my car, whatever, in a freaking park by
Right.
yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I always even try to tell that to my mom. I'm like, you don't have to. And then she's another one, like gives church like a gazillion. He's like, well, I had to donate to it. I'm like, for what? God is not getting all this money. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
they're getting that, but they're old school. So
It's hard to break when
yeah.
you grew up that way, and that's the way that everybody before you had been. And I mean, the way that the world is now, it's a lot easier to break away from that, especially where we're all so connected with like the internet and everything like that. Like people communicate easier, and I feel like it's easier to see how other people are living, and then you're like, well, I don't feel it necessary that I should go to church. And then you got like philosophers and stuff, that modern day philosophers and stuff, that will tell you that, you know, the earth is God's um church.
Right.
So like if you think of it in that aspect, you can pray, you can worship wherever you are, and he'll hear you. So
Absolutely.
Mondo, did you grow up any kind of religion?
So basically I'm in the same kind of like way of thought as you. Whereas the way I understood it is the temple is the relationship that you have with God.
Yep.
So me, yeah, it's my own self is what's important as long as I have that relationship. Um, I used to consider myself Christian, but it was just too many bad experiences with pastors um, abusing their rights, I guess I can say, and
Yep.
then even like family members that like I would say, hey, why is Christianity like the perfect choice?
Right.
Why do you frown upon Catholics, or what about our Asian brethren or our African brethren? What makes their God not as significant as yours? And it rubbed me the wrong way. And yeah, I mean, no offense to any Christians out there, I apologize if I've offended you. It's just those bad experiences, it kind of like turned me off to that. And I now consider myself more Catholic. I just feel like it's the message that they send out is more geared to me.
Right.
And I don't even like I'm not like hardcore Catholic like that either, because I like to like read about other religions and stuff like that. And there's like other stuff that like I kind of like, oh, I resonate with that, and I like this, and that cause like I can. So like say like Catholic or Christian, you'd be like, oh, you do like witchcraft and shit, and like you like the fucking moon, and you're like the devil at that point.
Yeah.
I don't feel like
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like have my little hands and feet and like all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I don't now I'm like, I grew up Catholic. I still have like, my archangels that I do like try to talk to or whatever, like try to have by me, but I still also I feel like I kind of go into like other things too, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad. I think all religions at one point it's all the same, just people try to like separate it and make it like,
Right.
I don't know what to try to make it, but you know what I'm saying.
And them as well. another thing why I'm not hardcore either is a lot of them are not willing to accept our brethren, the gays, the lesbians,
Yep.
like they're not accepting them. And I just believe we're only on this earth one time. We're blessed to be here once. Let everybody have their journey, man. Let them figure out themselves.
Right. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I would be what you would call more spiritual.
Yeah, I'm on that path,
Yeah.
basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Where I know there's something greater. I just don't know if it's biblically what has been taught, like through the Bible and whatever. But I do know there is a creator. I guess I would fall more because so my sister and I were part Native American, and
nice, cool.
From or
huh?
Tribe.
What
So
tribe?
it'd be Penobscot tribe, in Maine. That we have a reservation up in Old Town, right next to Bangor, Maine. Um, Unfortunately, my grandfather passed away when we were both young, so he was kind of like the last connection we had to our heritage and our ancestry, because my dad isn't as connected. So that's where we get the native from, is my dad's side, and then my mom's side is French. But I do believe that everyone has been created to be who they are. So, like Mondo was saying, gay, lesbian, all that, they're created because that's who they are. They were created to be that way, and for them to be turned around, or to be, I guess, violence or any kind of stuff like that, is it to be projected from like a church.
Yeah, like
I feel like
we're gonna pray the gay away for you. Like,
right,
bro, come on.
like
Yeah.
the people that are supposed to be the accepting and the loving people are the
Exactly.
more hate ridden people.
Dude, yes, exactly.
So I'm more in tune with like nature, Mother Earth, and synchronicity and all that. My sister was actually baptized Roman Catholic when she was a teenager, I think, right, Tanya?
Yeah, give or take, I was like 11, 12.
Yeah, yeah. She was, I don't know why, what made you get baptized? I can't remember.
I honestly, I don't know. I just got a random interest in. Oh, I know I was going to a daycare at the time where the lady was religious, and I think her and I started talking about religion, and I just got curious, and
Yeah.
she happened to be Roman Catholic, which is dad's religion, so it all kind of worked out in that way.
Right, right. So on that, do you remember, you guys, either one of you, ever have like well, I guess Mondo, you kind of like already said all your experiences, right? Yeah. So Jen, have you ever had like a super positive experience where you were like, there's for sure like a higher power?
One thing, yeah, I'd say like, so when I was younger, um, say, so it's funny because at around that time, it's actually probably the first time I ever had a what do you call that? Like a sleep paralysis. Was with this thing that happened, and then 2 nights in a row I had sleep paralysis after that. But so my parents had a timeshare, way when I was like a kid, and in a place called, it's a not a place, it's Sanibel Island. It's kind of by Naples and shit. So yeah, so it's like a beach resort or whatever. And of course, me being like the only kid there, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna go to the pool and fucking leave. And then, or I would just like go to the beach and just like hang out at the beach there in the sand or whatever. And back then, growing up in the 80s, you were more, I guess, independent or something.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
my parents just raised me like that. So I would just go to the pool. You know, they didn't want to go to the pool with me at the time. Or, you know, as a kid, you're always like, I want to go to the pool. I want to go to the pool. My kids are like that now. When we go somewhere, like all they care about shit about is just go to the pool. And sometimes now as a parent, I'm like, dude, I just want to chill. Like I just drove a whole bunch of miles, like relax, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's funny, dude. Like in hindsight, I'm like, I'm my kid, you know what I'm saying, at that point. So either way. So one day I used to like when I grew up, when I was little, I used to like love mermaids and stuff like that. And then I was trying to like hold my breath underwater. I was practicing that myself. I was trying to, I taught myself how to swim.
Oh wow.
Not really good. So please. I'm not Michael Phelps. I can maybe survive. Maybe. And then so my kids are now in swim class actually, because I didn't want to kind of like I suck at swimming. Let's just put it that way. You know, I can maybe handle myself. But there was one time in that vacation where I underestimated how far down I kind of went. And this pool was pretty, I don't even know how many feet. I know it's obviously way over my head, but I couldn't. So I was trying to hold my breath under and I went under that. So I was always trying to touch the floor of the pool. Right. And then I don't know what happened. Maybe I didn't like hold enough air or something. But when I was trying to go up, I couldn't go up. And at this point, like, and I will always swim with my eyes open. I can see like water on top of me, and I was trying to like kind of reach out, and I knew that I didn't even break the surface. Like I'm talking about, I was fucking done, and I was starting to panic. Yeah, so knows, right? So then I was starting to panic, and I wasn't even close to the wall. I thought I was. So I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I thought I was close to the wall, and I realized I couldn't even touch the wall. So there's not even nothing for me to like kind of push myself up or anything like that. So then all I thought about, which kind of makes me like, ugh, but I thought about was like, they're gonna find me dead. That's what I thought about. My parents. And then I don't mean to cry, I'm sorry. But when I thought that, I don't know what happened, like I kid you not, like I shot out of that fucking pool. Like it's something like flung me out. Oh, sorry. And then I kind of like, I don't even know how, but like I grabbed the wall then. And then like I got out and I just like sat there and I was like, what the fuck was that? You know? And then I went upstairs and I didn't tell anybody anything, you know, because I didn't want my parents to be like kicking my ass or whatever. Well, that, and I just didn't want them to be mad at me.
Right.
So I never said anything. And then that night, it's kind of like when I had, fuck, I hate this. I kind of had my first sleep paralysis, and then I had it again the next night, and I didn't know what that was. But I know the first time I had it, I had my eyes closed, but the second night, I was like awake. I wasn't even sleeping or anything. I was awake, and I can like see the room, and I was like trying to talk. I couldn't talk, but I was like pinned down. So I was like, what the hell is going on? And then it didn't happen again till like tons of years later, like as a kind of like a young adult, I guess I would say. So I don't know if that not coordinate, like I don't know if any of that has to do with anything together. So that's like a big question I have, like in the field.
Something
in
saved you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the stupid little things like that. I mean, it's not stupid, whatever, but like that's why I feel like I'm more like spiritual than an actual religion. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
Yeah. Sorry for
It's okay.
I get so emotional. Oh my god. And I think that's part of like the whole like empath thing. I'm like, Jesus, I can cry for like a fucking Publix commercial, please.
I mean, it goes hand in hand when you're in touch with yourself. So
yeah.
Like the more synchronicity you have with yourself in the universe, you tend to feel things a little more deeper.
Yeah.
So I mean, you made me cry, so
sorry.
that's fine. So I would say I would say that something saved you. Um,
Yeah.
whether what it was is more of the question. I think it's more confirming that you were saved, but as regards to what it could have been is more of what the question would be. Um, I had kind of like a similar experience. Nothing saved me, but I was just learning how to swim. I feel like I was born in water, but um, yeah, we used to go to a pool too all the time. It was my mom and I think my dad worked at a hotel too. I think they both worked at the same hotel.
Mhm.
And my dad was out at work, and my mom brought us to the hotel to go swimming in the pool. And she had my sister in her lap. My sister was still really young. I was probably like 2, 3-ish. And it's this like vision is like burned in the back of my brain, probably because it was so traumatic. And I had stepped off the step and I went into the water. I didn't have any floaties because, like early 80s, I mean, late 80s, early 90s, you had the arm
Yeah.
floaties, which they still have now, um, but that was really when they were just coming out with them. But I remember I dropped in and I opened my eyes and I couldn't breathe. And I could just, I mean, I don't mean to like say anything negative about my mother, but it was almost like my mom just sat there and stared at me for like a
What's
good
happening?
minute. Like she knew what was happening, but she was like didn't it like
Couldn't react. Yeah.
right. There was no
Right.
reaction. There was like she didn't care. She just stared. And I was just like going like this, and I couldn't even like scratch the surface with my hand.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, and I don't. Sometimes I feel like maybe it was a dream, but like I know for sure it was something that really happened. And then she just grabbed my hand and pulled me out, and I was just like, "Holy shit!"
Wow.
But
Oh my god.
um,
And that's traumatizing. Of course,
right.
you're gonna remember
So
that.
yeah, and that stuck with me like my entire life. And I remember bringing it up to my mom one time, and she told me she didn't remember. So, which
It sounds like,
a lot of things that
Yeah.
happened that with my mom, where I feel like she might have had like a negative reaction towards me about something. It almost seems like she doesn't remember.
right.
Yeah.
Well, it was more significant memory for you than it would have been for her because it shaped you.
Right.
But
True.
your story about the pool, it sounds almost like she was like possessed or something because it doesn't sound like her to like just sit there and watch you almost drown and then just grab you and pull you out and just be so calm about it. Like I
Yeah,
feel like that's the definite she's a definite overreactor, so that
yeah,
doesn't
she
sound
does.
like her at all.
That
So
was kind
it
of the
sounds
vibe that I was getting too as you were
Yeah.
telling it. I don't know why I got that vibe.
Yeah.
yeah. It
It
sounds
was
like
like
she
her
was
face was just
obsessed or
blank. It
something.
was just like, so say the camera is me under the water. This was her holding my sister. She's just like,
Ooh, like expressionless.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
nothing. She wasn't worried, nothing. So
Yeah, that doesn't she definitely overreacts. That doesn't sound anything like her. So
maybe,
um I
maybe.
mean, it's even if you like weren't drowning and you were just playing, she would have been like, "Oh my God, Kevin!"
Oh
So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
I feel like there was something up with like something like either possessing her or there was something up with her.
I mean, maybe. I mean, we were living in the mountains at that time, so
Mm,
so
you never know.
right. So Jen, with all your experiences, have you ever experienced anything super negative other than the woman with the claws and the hat man
That
that was
guy.
over you?
Um, negative, not really.
No.
Not to me. He kind of had like a negative thing. I was there, so that counts. But I would think that was more like a negative experience, I guess. And for other than that, I'm trying to like think. No,
Okay.
not really. Like I don't, you know, I think I've had stuff like try to scare me, but I'm not to say like doesn't scare me, but it really doesn't. Like I'm so used to shit, I
Right.
guess. And I just be like, or I just acknowledge it. I'd be like, okay, I saw you, which I do that a lot. Like I'll see
Right.
something or I see like a shot, and I'm like, I saw you or I heard you. Okay, if you want to tell me something, tell me. You know what I'm saying, or give me like a vision in my mind or whatever. Like that will happen. Nothing. Okay, whatever. Like nothing like that. Only thing
Okay.
that he had a negative thing, and I thought it was negative, and I didn't like it. But that was something that he actually went through.
Yeah.
But yeah, not me. Other than those two freaks at that house.
Right. So what was that Nick? What do you think was the negative experience for him?
So we had recently went to it's an old jail in Trenton, Florida.
Yeah.
And
Is this
so
the cold
it's
spot thing? Did you already tell me the story?
No,
Or-
no, this is
no. This is another jail.
Oh, okay, okay.
This jail is still it's alive. It's up there.
live.
Sorry.
It's alive and well, and it's funny too because that actually cold spots to me are like super rare. Like you don't get them. Well, I don't get them like that. And this was that he had a cold spot. The whole room turned into like a fridge. I kid you not. And it's hot as shit because there's no electricity in this jail. And that whole room turned into like a meat locker. Like it formatted behind next to him and one of our teammates, Joe. There was us three that went up there. And it so we were asking about a doll that was placed there. I don't know who put it there.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say who put it there, but I don't know if they maybe had an attachment or a negative attachment on purpose on that doll. I'm gonna say maybe like a lower level demon. That's what I think it is. That's kind of like my take on that. And it started to like, show itself. It was like, all right, fuck around and find out. And we did. So, that was the thing. And yeah, like his face changed. Like he was pretty nuts. You want to talk about it?
So it was a learning experience. I will say that.
That's true. And you don't get that every day.
So that's actually not the first time. I'll get to that time.
What?
Okay.
The first time it wasn't as bad. So the first time, it was a learning lesson. I'm a noob. It is what it is at that point. I didn't set my intention. Big no. Didn't know that at the time.
Right.
Found out about it after. But to make a long story short, as I was leaving an investigation, a public investigation, I'm going home.
I know what he's talking about.
And I start. It's weird because it was like light shadow, and I can't figure out what's going on. I'm in my car driving, and I'm at a red light. Light shadow. And then I'm finally able to focus and see what's going on. Shadow figures are running around my car in circles.
What?
Like that. And that's the light, and the dark is pretty much the light from the outside, and the dark was blocking it out.
Right.
I'm driving. I'm like, maybe I'm tired or whatever. I'm driving. This location is about a good 50 minutes to like an hour away.
Yeah.
Take the same thing, Kevin. Same thing. The whole ride home, I'm getting the exit off of the freeway, and I'm seeing them like running in front of my car, and they almost look like real people. Like,
yeah, you had called me at that point here, and he was like, I think something is wrong. Like I remember him calling me because I was home at that day. I didn't go because we didn't have a babysitter.
Yeah.
So he's like, I think something is wrong. And I was like, well, tell me what's going on. And he was like, something, because I saw a shadow like run in front of my car.
The best way I can describe it is, if for all my video game nerds out there, just like me, if you ever played like Super Smash Bros. Or like the old like Nintendo games, Mr. Game Watch, Mr.
Yeah, I know
Game
what you're
Watch,
talking about.
That's exactly what I saw. Like he was just like in place, but like gliding.
Yeah.
It wasn't like moving his arms and legs. No, it was like he was like that in a running position and gliding. And yeah, I call her. I'm like, I don't know what I'm experiencing, but I can tell you it's not normal. And I tell her what's going on. She's like, hey, park the car like a block away and we're gonna sage you. So she saged me. We said a prayer, and then we got home like nothing was going on. We had a conversation, and she's like, "Hey, we do this when I'm here. Why didn't you do this when the one time that I wasn't there?" And
Yeah.
maybe I was too excited, and like, hey, I'm gonna investigate. I hadn't investigated in a while.
Yeah.
Like I wanna show that I don't need my wife to investigate, like I can handle it on my own. And I wasn't able to handle it on my own. So fast forward, second time, the time we got into this story. So we're investigating with our brother Joe, good friend of ours, and we're investigating with some of the local teams. So shout out to Kindred Paranormal, Steve and Reese.
Yeah.
So Steve is, so picture this, we're kind of like on a upside down U type of shape.
Mhm.
So I'm sitting where Jenny is right now, is where Joe is sitting, and then it starts more like on a turn. That's where Jenny and Reese is, and in between us are the dolls that she was talking about. Then directly across from us is Steve. Steve is just filming me and Joe like this.
Yeah.
And we're investigating. All of a sudden, I start like, you see me like
On
trying to
video,
warm up.
And I kept like asking, like, what are you doing? He's like, it's cold. You're not cold. And I'm like, no, it's
like, it's
hot.
super
like,
cold.
I had shorts on. It's mad hot.
Super
and he kept
cold.
doing that.
Like
you know?
I was shivering.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching the video, guys, and I start not remembering things that was playing in the video. So there's one point in Steve's video where Joe asks me, "Hey, are you okay?" And I just like, quick answer, I don't know. Anybody that knows me, they know a couple things about me, and one of them, like, I'm a reliable, I'm a team leader, I'm all that, and I like to joke around. That's my thing. I'm always like positive and like kind of joking, because to me that creates a good vibe.
Right.
He said that I was super stern with him, and like straight and forward, like stern. And I don't remember that. And I'm seeing the video, I'm like, who is that?
It looked like you were gonna punch him. Like it.
And then he's like, yo, it looks like you're gonna punch me. Like I'm feeling even, that vibe.
In there, in live and seeing, like, I thought like this guy was gonna punch.
At that same time, I don't remember this happening. Joe is like, get away from me. You don't have permission. Get away from me.
But
he's blocking Spirit out because he can see him.
Yeah, he was like, he had his eyes closed and he was trying to like he had tried to go to like into meditation prior to that.
Yeah.
And it was messing with him, and he was like, you don't have permission to like be on me or do whatever, stop messing with me, like get away from me. So I think at that point it didn't really mess with him, like it messed with him, it probably just like latched onto him. Exactly.
And then I don't remember that. So then I was doing the same thing. We kind of have this practice, the three of us, where we'll do our with our DRs, we'll set them down. He uses the T25. So we'll set them down, we'll do an EVP session, and we'll close our eyes and try to visualize. So I was doing that, and what I saw was, okay, another best way I can describe for all my Simpsons fans, when you're first watching like the intro, what is the first thing you see? You see Bart kind of like in detention, and he's writing like, I will not throw paper in class or whatever. But it wasn't as nice of a message as that. It was, I saw somebody's hand writing in chalk, and it kept saying F you, F you, F you, F you, F you, F you. Like it kept writing it, and then like I would look over, and it was just like that, but like for yards going on end, the same thing. And then another thing that happened was that I don't remember doing at all. I had my like that, and I was like shaking. I had my head in my hands. I don't remember doing that. After I got like my pick up my head, she was telling me that she saw like my face look like it was morphing.
No,
I don't remember
I
that,
can
but
just
seeing
tell
it
it
on
wasn't
the
you.
on the video, you
Yeah.
can see like my face wasn't my face. It looked like my
Yes.
cheeks were all
In
different.
the video, his face is the only face that would not focus. Like
Yeah.
it was like weird. It was like
Wow.
blur. And his eyes got like, I can see it in person. I was like, yo, your eyes are like black. Like you need to stop.
Blacker than my shirt.
No,
No
it's just
shit.
all
Like
black. You know what I'm
black.
saying? Like dark. Yeah. Even here started getting like dark.
Oh my
I mean, he
goodness.
has ojeras, but like this shit was like dark.
Dark. And then like I'm doing like my session with my
Don't slam it
DRs.
here.
I'm not gonna slam it here, but yeah, like I was like, no, we're gonna do another session, and bam, like I slammed down my
he was
DRs.
just aggressive AF.
And I was being aggressive with them, and I'm like, after I'm like, no, don't do that.
That made
These
me
cost so
mad.
much money. Dude, I
You're gonna break our
I
shit.
just finished paying these off because I had like a little payment plan for them.
Yeah.
They cost a pretty penny. So looking back, I'm like, no, why are you doing this? And yeah, they just stopped me. They're like, hey, you need to stop. We need to go outside. And I still felt like upset because now it was just angry because I started to realize like something was manipulating me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was mad. So we left Sage, we said a prayer.
Yeah, I had to like cleanse them and do all this stuff.
And we did the same with Joe as well. And yeah, when I came back to do the rest of the investigation, I was just completely drained. It was hard for me to open my eyes.
Yeah, he was done. And throughout that whole experience, like in that little frame when everything started escalating, like at that point, yeah, the cold like was everywhere. Like that room was the only room that was freezing. Like literally, it's like you walked into like a meat locker at that point. Like it was just brick in there, like cold.
Wow.
And like it had to go over everything. And then I wasn't comfortable. Like I was like, I'm good. I don't need to investigate this fucking room anymore. Like I already know what's here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was nuts. But
Do
he
you-
kind of it lingered a little bit afterwards too.
Did it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like a good 2 week
Oh wow.
cleanse of like trying to get that shit off of him. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah, it
remember
just
how you
felt-
felt when you came out? Like when you came out of the building and that you started
Ooh.
doing the prayers? Do you remember feeling like any kind of sickness or dizziness or anything like that?
But you know what was weird? I felt like I was able to breathe.
Like you've been underwater and you just were able
Yeah,
to
you
come out?
know, like if I was on autopilot the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was finally like, oh, wait, I'm in control of my breath now. I didn't feel like I was in control. I was on autopilot, like I was saying.
Oh my goodness. And where did this take place at?
It was Trenton, right?
Yeah, up in
Trenton,
Trenton, Florida. It's like North Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I want to go back because I feel like I need to redeem myself.
Yeah.
There. So
Well,
I want
Do
to
you
go
remember
back.
do you remember how you were feeling before you went there?
Before
Yeah,
going
before.
there, excited because we were actually invited as guests because we were doing a para unity.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the local groups were invited so that we can all investigate with each other. And I thought the concept was amazing.
Yeah.
We got to investigate with some of the folks that we have spoken with online.
Yeah, people you meet online, and then we finally got to like meet in person or whatever.
It's cool to put face with name and talk with them, and it was awesome because just like people that hit us up online, hey, Mondo, how do you get the DR sessions to work so good? I just tell them, hey, with your equipment, it's the more you use it, it kind of becomes a part of you, and it just seems to work out better. Like our good friend, like we were mentioning, Joe, he's a genius when it comes to like with the ST
It's a
25,
Sony
the
ST25.
Sony recorder. He's amazing with that. We can't get an EVP on that to save our lives.
Yeah.
But with the DR60, I'll hit.
Yeah.
And he gets crazy EVPs with that. Like, and me, like, I'm like, I get like nothing on that shit. But like, he gets like the clearest like EVPs, and I'm like, that's freaking wild. But those are his babies. Those are his go-tos. So you connect with that. It doesn't. I mean, it's with everything, you know.
Jenny has that with the like her dowsing rods and her pendulum, and your cards. Like nobody does that better than her. Another one of our teammates, his name is JP. Amazing when it comes to using spirit box.
Yeah, little spirit
portal
box.
session.
I love that.
She's really good with it too. But yeah, just bouncing ideas off of each other. I think it was amazing. You know, there was certain things that I didn't see it in a way how they saw it, and they kind of like spun it onto me. And I was like, man, thank you for that insight, because now I understand more. You know.
Awesome. So you would say that's obviously your favorite tool for investigations?
If I had to say top three tools, my go-to is the DR60. I would say number two, your camera. Camera is key because even if it's your phone, you can catch, EVPs on your cameras that you maybe weren't there live to see, or them manipulating the REM pod, or we use cat balls. And then lastly, I would say yourself. Yourself is another great tool. Like,
and the more you like investigate, like I think you become more sensitive. You know yourself. Yeah, you're gonna be like, yo, like something falls off here, something like that. So like you yourself is a great tool. You know?
Yeah, and then the more you investigate too, like now I'm able to visualize things. I'm almost always, it's weird, I always had like a good ear, and smell. The visualization came a lot longer into being investigating, but smelling, I would get like phantom smells. I even get like I was telling her, it smells like pot.
Smells like weed in here.
It smells like weed in here.
Like a weed plant.
What's going on here? Like I would get like weird smells. One time we investigated somewhere and it smelled like baking, like somebody did a cake or like cookies or something, that like sugary, like cinnamon type smell, and the place was, nobody was there. So
wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cinnamon
smell. So if you guys had to give advice actually, no, I'm not going to ask that question first. I'm going to ask, who the hell makes your videos? Because whoever makes the videos makes them really good.
Oh, thanks. Yay. That's how I'm so I like taking photography. I like photography.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. So I guess me being doing that, like I like to if I can like have a dream job, anybody out there, y'all listening, hire me to like just do dumb videos and shit. Like I like that. I would enjoy doing that all day because that's what I like to do.
And I can concur that she does them very well.
Yeah, thanks.
Did you
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Did you make your own logo for the 305 Paranormal?
Yeah.
That's pretty dope too. I like it.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She just,
and I was like, hey, this is cute. He's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I was like,
she just asked me, what do you want to name us?
Okay, I'll take it. You know what I'm
saying? What do you want to name us? And I was like, well, I kind of want 305 to be part of it, because 305 to me, everybody knows us as Miami, or like LeBron James said, down in South Beach, when the Heat don't even play anywhere close to South Beach, but that's neither here or there. But 305 to me, Miami is just, I see a lot of like dedicated, like hardworking people we don't take shortcuts. We don't take BS from anybody.
Yeah.
You know, like even my sports figures, Dwayne Wade, you know, his whole slogan at one point was fall down 7 times and get up 8. Udonis Haslam, we met both of them, super nice guys, by the way. But you can see the literal blood, sweat, and tears that man shed, and
It's just hustling. Like
it's
everybody here,
hustling.
you hustle,
Everybody,
hustle, you know?
like Rick Ross in a song that he came out with, "Hustling" or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just I wanted like that type of name, and then 305 Paranormal.
I mean, and yeah, we're from here. We grew up here, so like,
grew up here.
Better thing.
And then
I went online. I was like 305 Paranormal. I was like, hey, it's fucking open. I'm taking it. You know,
let's do it. And yeah, we liked like the colors.
Yeah, so the color. I've always been a fan of South Beach colors, whatever I guess you want to call it.
So Bayside,
I call those colors 80s colors.
Yeah,
I'm an 80s baby.
So,
you know what I'm saying? So I like that shit.
In the area of Bayside, which is right next to the arena where the Heat play, they have a big like fluorescent sign in these colors. So that was kind of like, yeah, maybe like, what do you think about incorporating those colors? She's like,
no,
I've always loved those colors.
That's why, yeah.
So then she just blew my mind when she did the whole logo and the spinning like lights coming together.
Oh, you're talking about like in the
intro. Like intros. I think it's cool because it's like us two like coming together, and you know, this is us.
Yeah.
Nice. And how long have you guys been the 305? When did you decide to do your own like name?
Oh, so probably around like I had all this evidence and like videos stuff like that. I was like, you know, I wasn't putting it out there or whatever. And I was like, just to get the shit off my phone. So too much memory. That's really why
that was the main inspiration. Yeah. Getting those gigabytes out of her phone.
Yeah, for real. Because I don't know, whatever. But you know, and I was like, maybe people watch it or whatever.
I watch it.
I think that cool. Thank you. I think it was during COVID where I opened that account, and I didn't do nothing with it for like damn near almost a year. So about 2020. And I started getting like, you know, people just started following. I didn't do anything. I probably had like one picture on there. I don't even know what the hell it was because I took it off because it made no sense. I was trying to like, at that point, like create an account, but I didn't have anything on there. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to take it serious. Like, I'm going to really try to like work on this or whatever. And then just show like any findings or like anything, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff that we like or whatever. And that took off really mainly like 2021 is when I really started like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm saying
it was but
like I started it during COVID, like
right
on my couch board. I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I want to do. He's like, well, you should do this, and I was like, well, I already have the idea. I want to do that, just never bothered. You know what I'm saying? Like never did it.
Did it, and then that was the birth of 305 Paranormal, and then
so I was like, you know, at least we have all the social stuff, like all the videos. We can find it all in that one
together
name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Threw that out, and then I came out with Mr. 305 Paranormal. And it's just sharing you know, paranormal clips as well, and I'm talking like sports and sneakers, because I paint sneakers. I custom do
you do
sneakers.
Nice.
That was just something I always liked, like shoes and kicks, and
he was like, a big sneakerhead.
I was
like huge,
even though like I was a big Heat fan. I loved Michael Jordan, and I, you know, grew up during that era. And then still loved the Heat, but then Kobe Bryant came out, so I loved Kobe. I was really sad too when he passed, because I was like, we were celebrating my birthday, literally. And he passed. I was like, oh, that. I was like, Jenny, I'm sorry, but this news like ruined my day. Like, I know you're trying. It just, I was out of it for a few days. I was in a funk. And it's just like, I always liked the shoes. And then I was, during the pandemic, nothing else better to do. I learned how to make coffee on YouTube. That's where my alias Young Cafecito came out.
Yeah.
And then
coffee.
I was watching this dude on Facebook, and he's like oh yeah, you want to learn how to make drinks here? Bum, 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 bum. And I was like, hey, this sounds cool. Pandemic, I have nothing else better to do. I was getting paid at work to stay home, so let's start learning stuff. So I learned how to make drinks, and then the next thing I started was, hey, you can learn how to make your own kicks. So I was like, all right. Started. I would buy all white shoes and then started painting them, and the rest is history. And then yeah, talk there about that and anime. I'm a big anime fan. Dragon Ball, Bleach, One Piece, things of that like that.
Right. Nice. I had a question to go along with all that, and I forget it. And this happens to me every fucking time. So 305 has been I connected with Pitbull when I was in high school when he first came out with Kulo. And
that's Mr. 305. The
yeah,
real
That's
Mr.
a
so
real
when
one,
you
the
said
one that
Mr.
got paid
305,
for
I
it.
was like, oh, Pitbull, like he's like, I love that dude. And a lot of people call him a sellout and this and that, but I think he gives back a lot too, and it goes along with the lines of you saying everybody out there is hardworking. That dude came up from nothing as well.
Dude, I actually way back in the day, I had a boyfriend back in the time, and this is like high school days.
Yeah.
So they used to like do like ciphers and like rapping and stuff like that, like in front of this high school. Not Coral. It's Coral Gables. It's on Coral Way. Coral Way. Is it
I
called
believe.
Coral?
I know. I think it's Coral Gables. I think. If not, it was Southwest. One or the other.
I don't know. But anyway, so some high school. So one of my exes used to like, they used to like battle each other. Bro, this guy hated this guy. He's like, oh, this guy thinks he's a shit, this and that. And I'm just like cracking up because like later on I was like, this guy did something. Like he fucking made it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's Mr. Worldwide now.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like I
Mr.
knew
Worldwide.
him from like rapping in the streets and like doing those like rap battles and stuff like that. Like I've known him from like young buck, like super young. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I have in common with him is that we share the first same name. That's it. Armando. He's Armando too.
Armando, yeah.
Yeah.
No
so in Spanish, todos mis latinos allá, Armando, it translates to builder.
Oh wow.
Go figure. Yeah.
And you like to build stuff, right? Well, with your painting.
I actually do.
Do you like to build stuff?
I buy IKEA furniture that's like max difficulty of like building stuff because all
No
they do is give you pictures. Yeah, no instructions. Go figure it out on your own.
I can do this. Challenge accepted.
Thank you. Yes. I'll just go on YouTube. Hey, da, 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 da. All right. Now I can actually visualize it. And yeah, I started doing it.
That'd be great. They should have like YouTube, like video instructions instead of those papers that half the time, like they're missing half of the shit in the boxes anyways.
Yeah, like scan a QR code and it takes you to the...
Bruh, yes.
All right, I'm going to stop now because I think I'm going to do that. Don't take my ideas, people.
So do you guys ever investigate just the two of you, or are you always with another team?
Well, so the actual team, like Florida team that we belong to, is War Party Paranormal. And yeah, so we do events like at certain places or whatever. And as a team collective, like we'll be with them. That team is like huge. So not all of them like really go out all the time.
Yeah.
But some of our teammates will go out, so maybe like last weekend. I just posted a video like about that last weekend. We went to like a local park and we're like, hey, do you want to like investigate someplace, you're fucking bored on Saturday? Yeah, let's hit it up. So, we have our friends that we made friends from that team. And we'll just go to places like investigate sometimes like a park, a local park, or like maybe a cemetery or, certain places like that. So we'll investigate as, do our own thing like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much us. A majority of the time, it's us and Joe. Yeah. But yeah, we do investigate with our other team members as well.
So Joe, his social media handle is Joe Hunts Ghost.
Yeah.
And he did have a podcast before he has stopped it because work has been hectic for him. But he
Yeah.
had a podcast called Florida Weirdo, and that's pretty
Florida.
cool. Yeah.
He talks about all the weird stories of Florida. It's super neat. I'd recommend
Yeah.
that you check it out. Actually, one of the stories that he talks about was actually the inspiration to the movie Corpse's Bride, right? The one with
Yeah,
Johnny
the Corpse's
Depp.
Bride.
Yeah, Corpse's
So
Bride.
it's a story in Key West.
Yeah,
Where you
story
gotta
in
come
Key
to
West.
you gotta go to Key West. Holy crap! There's so much. Everything there is like
Well, that's home
Yeah, I was-
to the
fucking haunted.
Robert the doll. That's his home.
That's one of them. Yeah.
He's-
Robert the Doll. Yeah, I just
Mhm.
heard about. Well, so I've known about Robert the Doll for a while, but I was literally it's the weird thing that you say it is that I just listened to a podcast that talked a lot about Robert the Doll yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
It was actually Joe Rogan.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
What the fuck was he talking about?
These two kids, they're like 26, and they started off as YouTubers, and they would just do stupid stuff on YouTube, and then they started investigating abandoned buildings, and then all of a sudden they were paranormal investigators, and now they're like super like famous, and they travel all over the place, and they went and saw Robert the Doll.
I love Key West. Like Key West,
Yeah.
like all the bed and breakfasts there, they're super old. They were older mansions, and then they would collect them together and to make a resort or whatever.
Mhm.
But I mean, the cemetery there. So there's like an original cemetery that's like part of a church. It's right outside of a church. That
Mhm.
shit is. I mean, obviously everything in there is haunted,
Mhm.
but the building next to it. So I stayed in a bed and breakfast right across. So like, if I were to walk out of that bed and breakfast, I'm looking at the cemetery across the street. That bed and breakfast was freaking haunted. Like everything there. You can like spit and you probably hit some haunted shit. I don't even know. Like it's nuts. You're either drunk or you got ghosts there. Like
Yeah.
it's
Right.
wild. It's crazy.
Well-
I love that place.
Yeah. Well, the pirates, from back in the day, all the plundering and stuff, they'd find these islands and they'd freaking set up camp sometimes, and sometimes they'd murder their friends.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this little piece of gold from you. Don't mind if I do. Murder.
Now that I
stab,
stabbed you to death.
Yeah, it's mine. Yeah,
So
that's very
do you,
true.
for anybody who's just starting out with investigating, do you guys have any tips, tricks, or advice for anybody?
Would you like to go first?
I would just say don't how would I say? I don't know. Do whatever works for you. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever works for one person is not gonna work for like everybody, because like a connection, you have to have a connection. Like I love like my dowsing rods or my pendulum or whatever. And I think I connect them pretty good. Like practice is everything. And also intention. Like intention to me is everything. Like
Right.
if you go in with a good, like, hey, I'm not here trying to disrespect anybody. Yeah, don't freaking harass, or how do you call it? Like, don't be agitating the ghost. Like,
Oh,
oh, talk to me.
antagonize.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, antagonize. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for.
Mhm.
That's definitely like either you're gonna get something or you're not gonna get anything. Like they don't have to talk to you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think even an EMF, like a K2 meter, like sometimes people like, they're holding around. It doesn't have to light up. Like in my head, like I don't know why I recently that thought came into my head. So I don't know if that's a thing or not. But so I get like kind of like clairvoyance a little bit, claircognizance or whatever. And I was thinking like they don't have to do shit. Like they can be there. And maybe I don't want to choose that. I want to choose the fucking cat ball, and I'm gonna mess with the cat ball all night. But I'm like, touch the RAM pod, and then people be like mad, you know what I'm saying? But so just go in with good intentions, and I always introduce myself when I go into like a location or anywhere. Hi, my name is Jen. This is Mondo, and we just want to talk to you, and we don't mean disrespect. Also, I always close out. Like I always say goodbye. I think that's one big thing for sure. Maybe just if you start off with that practice, you'll always do it.
Yep.
Like, it was nice talking to you. I'm gonna leave. You must stay here.
Mhm.
I come in peace. I leave in peace. See
Yeah.
you later. You know what I'm saying?
Be respectful.
Yeah, be respectful, I think. And just, but with everybody, with the
human and the living and the
and the
dead.
living and the dead. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just being nice is great. and then an intention for sure. Intention to me, I think, is the number one thing, because if you're strong in your intention, like, so like say the experience you had, you know, I was right the closest thing next to them, and I was the one cleansing them, and I don't, maybe because I'm strong in my mind intentionally, like I already built that relationship of like saying my prayers and stuff like that. I'm like, you know, the thing that it did not fuck with me. It tried. I found out later it tried. You ain't do it, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that being strong minded in that, like, do not let anything like control you, try to control you or whatever. Like, they manipulate the weak.
Right.
Is the best way to say it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be strong willed. You know?
Right.
Well, I would
Mondo, you're
say
weak.
as far as for me, yeah, I'm weak.
I know. At one point, I was like, "You gotta be stronger." Like in here, it's you know,
Use the
mentality.
force.
Yeah, exactly. Use the force, guy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I would say for me, yeah. When you're doing, I'm gonna give you an advice if you're hosting an event,
Mm.
and then an advice is if you're wanting to investigate, you know, privately or whatnot. But for an event, I think it's always good beforehand, before your guests start coming, introduce yourself to Spirit. Hey, Spirit, I'm gonna be here investigating, because think about it this way. Let's say Kevin, Tanya comes to your house. Hey, I'm here. You're gonna have to deal with me. I'm gonna be here the rest of the night. You're gonna be kind of upset about it, you know. Whereas if she was, hey, I'm gonna come over, we're gonna hang out, watch movies, or get some pizza or whatever. Like, you're gonna be more receptive to that because you know what's going on ahead of time. Same thing with Spirit. Hey, Spirit, I'm gonna be here the night investigating with you. Coming here with respect. The guests are gonna come. We're gonna speak with you, and I always get positive results because we're coming respectful to them. And I always, when I do my investigation with my guests, I always make sure they're the stars of the investigation. So I tell them, hey, I investigated this place tons of times. You guys are the investigators for the evening. Here's my DRs. This is how they work. Bum 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 bum. Go ahead. The investigation is yours.
Yeah, you ask the questions. We're not gonna ask the questions.
I'm not gonna ask the questions because I know what the responses I get.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't feel comfortable asking questions, no problem. You tell me the question, and then I'll do the session with your question. No problem. I just don't want them holding like a K2 like some people, and then that's your night. No, I think they should be able to manipulate some of the equipment that we have there, and then go on to the next site. Now, investigating by yourself. The advice that I have for you, I've kind of thought about investigating as kind of like fishing, if you will. You go out fishing, you're not guaranteed to catch a fish. You're going to go home hungry, sometimes not catching anything. Same thing with investigating. Don't get down on yourself because you didn't get any evidence that night.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
That happens.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're veterans for years, but we have been investigating for quite a while now. And sometimes it just doesn't happen for us. It doesn't work out for us. And then our partners, our teammates have investigated like another site within the same area, and they're like, oh my God, it was the craziest night you'll never believe, and this and this and this happens, and they show us the videos.
We're like crickets.
And then they're like, hey, what did you guys get?
Shit. It's dead. Pun intended. Like fucking literally.
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 I like that. I like that.
Just hanging out in his
it's
house.
just, you know, don't beat yourself up if you don't get anything. It comes with the territory. It's fishing. That's the best way I can describe it.
With TV and footage, like they go through hours of watching fucking the screen. That's like
Great
I think
point.
that's the most tedious thing about this is like you go through like so much like videos and stuff like that, and you're like,
yeah,
you know, to find something, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I got something, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times it's just like you watching yourself talk over, you know, doing all the stuff, and then maybe you laugh at yourself. You're like, oh, look, I did something stupid or whatever, you know. I love bloopers. Like
Yeah.
I'm a big blooper fan.
That
So, like-
that is one thing. I just to jump on your point, folks, they're like, oh yeah, well, Ghost Adventures, they're getting it like within seconds. And how
Jam-packed
come
hour.
you're not doing anything? It's like, no, it's not that I'm not doing anything. They just don't feel like communicating. It happens.
don't
It
have to.
happens.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the microwave society that we live in, instant gratification.
Ugh,
Right.
so annoying.
Right. Hey, well, Ghost Adventures, they only put out the stuff that they catch.
Exactly.
So-
That's the thing. You're always
And
gonna do
that's
that.
because they've edited hours of footage.
Right.
On top
But
of that,
exactly.
yeah.
they see it like, oh man, but within seconds they already had something else. I mean, no,
And
it
it's
doesn't
funny-
work like that in real
And
life.
some place, like,
Right.
like, so you get like little kids when they go to the events, like
Yeah.
that's what they expect, you know what I'm saying? So like, I love when the kids are there because I love to see their face when like something happens and
When
they're
you
like,
do get something, they're like,
oh, like Christmas morning, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, do it again. And like, I'll be like, here, do my dowsing rods, and like they freak out when some shit happens, or like, I give them like something, I don't know what the hell I was doing, whatever. And I'm like, stand next to the cat ball and see like if it'll like do something. And it's like almost like spirit, maybe depending on the location, they would like to like show, maybe they like kids, you know what I'm saying? So they
Yeah.
will make stuff happen, and they just like, oh my God, my kid, they had a great time, and they love that. So I think they're like, oh, how come nothing's happening yet? Or I'm like, so I had to, it's TV. TV is TV.
Yeah.
You have to like kind of explain that at first. I'm like, let's
Yeah.
see what we get. You know what I'm saying? I'm not guaranteeing nothing, but whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying?
I get you. So how long have you guys been married?
ooh, that was October 16, 2011.
2011.
Yeah. So we just made 11 years.
Mhm.
So how long were
And then
you
we were
guys together
together 2
before you-
years.
Oh.
2 years.
2 years.
So
2 years.
yeah, the day Michael Jackson died was that. It's
What?
the
Something
worst
always
way to remember it. I'm sorry, but that's what happened, because we were going on a date to the Keys, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing that you can hear on the radio. There weren't
Yeah, we were-
podcasts at the time.
We were driving, and like, yeah, that's
It was like Michael Jackson passed away today, and then it was just like hours of just playing Michael Jackson,
songs, which I
was
love.
kind of
MJ,
cool.
Whatever.
But
Right.
yeah, kind of like it was like, man. But that's the one thing that I always remembers.
He always remember. So that's your way of remembering stuff, like something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened? I guess.
Yeah.
MJ died, and we started kind of a relationship. Maybe, I guess.
Yeah.
Not because of him.
No.
Like, good.
Well, from an outsider's perspective, you guys seem to have a really well mended relationship, and I want to congratulate you on that, because
Thank
it's
you.
really nice to see, because you don't see that very often these days.
No, she's my best friend.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have each other's back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I guess us maybe even also, I'm an only child. He was an only child too. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but so he grew up, like the father not being around. I didn't. Like, I have my parents are still together. So I always, not that I always like, you never know what happens in a relationship. If you're
Right.
with somebody and it doesn't work out, whatever, but like, he always wanted to be together as a family. Like, if you have kids, stay together. So like, we always kind of like vibe that way, you know what I'm saying? So we've always worked out well because of, I guess, the way we grew up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
Just wanting better for our kids, better than what we had. And
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
I think that's every parent's dream.
True.
I wish I can quit my day job and be famous, so that way I can give them everything they ever wanted. But I'm trying the best that I can with what we
got.
have now. I'm
Yeah.
trying my best. I know she is too.
And then being together so long, like, at this point, like, I finish his sentences, or he's like, all right, I know what he's thinking, but I don't know if that's just like that clear thing. In the first place, I was like, I know what you're thinking. He's like, what?
So this is what
I'm a good lie detector too.
What
so,
she
like,
is, she's like, I'm mad at you, but at least I know that you're telling me the truth. And I'm like, why? She's like, because you suck at lying.
He really does. This is terrible.
Like, I don't waste my time. Yeah, I just, like, if I mess up, own it. Life lessons here, guys. You only pick it up here on Kevin's podcast. If you mess up, own it. That's the best you can do. If you lie, you just make things worse. Yeah, I'm an open book. It is what it is.
It's the best way to be.
How I am.
Yeah.
The best way to be is to be honest, because you get lost in lies.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the more lost you become.
It's hard to catch up. I'll tell you that. Definitely. It's hard to catch up at one point.
True. Right. I agree. Well, guys, do you guys have any pages, Instagrams, websites that you want to plug right here, right now?
Can I just a little extra treat? Can I tell you about the she doesn't even know I was going to bring this up. Can I tell you about the most expensive piece of equipment I ever used during a ghost investigation?
Let's do it. Let's hear it.
So we film not every month, every other month with the Spanish program. It's called Primer Impacto with Univision, right? Yeah. Univision. We filmed with them, and we had the pleasure of investigating at the Gold Coast Railroad with, get this, a Tesla Model 3.
Yeah.
What?
Cool.
So the tablet, or the center console, if you will.
Yeah.
It actually uses a kind of like, are you familiar with the SLS or the XLS?
Not at all.
Okay, so
the thing with the stick figures that you seen them like in the show. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's the device that uses the Xbox Connect, and it essentially maps out figures.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got.
So the Tesla, it uses a very similar technology to be able to map out, cars that are incoming or next to you. If there's like a street light there. So what we were able to map out.
That shit is super accurate too. It's like
super accurate.
It'll map out a trash can.
And if you're curious about this, people have actually done videos on this on YouTube as well.
Not my YouTube.
So Jenny and I took, of course, we were going to take full advantage of this. We were driving the Tesla. And then the other person was holding the SLS. And you would see the Tesla would show somebody riding a bike. There's nobody there. How can you ride a bike in a train station?
What?
You would see someone riding a bike.
Well, we did it in a cemetery too, and that was wild.
And the cemetery. Ooh.
Oh, wait.
Wait, there's more. We're going overtime, guys. Don't worry about it.
No, wait, real quick. But so say like that person that we mapped out literally on a motorcycle. It maps out somebody on a motorcycle. So we decided to do like an EVP. And we're like, so we asked, like, I don't know exactly how we started it, but basically, like, did you die from a motorcycle accident? And the EVP has said yes. So I'm in my head, I'm like, so are you like riding like motorcycles in your afterlife? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what, maybe you love that. You know what I'm saying? Who knows?
Like
but
Ghost Rider type
that
thing.
was pretty cool. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That was dope.
That sounds pretty cool.
It mapped it out, and we had the SLS confirming that you would see the stick figure. Now you wouldn't see the bike like how it mapped it out on the Tesla.
Yeah.
Right.
But you saw stick figure there, and we were able to prove that even though Tesla is denying that doesn't
they don't
happen.
deny it, confirm. They're just like
if it happens, it happens. Yeah, we were able to confirm that that what it's mapping out is spirit.
Wow.
So that was a very neat investigation.
Investigation / experiment, because that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to see if it would like correlate, you know what I'm saying, with the SLS, with that piece of equipment that people use in ghost hunting. And Tesla, people started seeing that. So they would like say pull up into their house, into the driveway, and it'll map out like if in the middle of the night, and it'll map out like if somebody was standing right in front of the car. And so people were like, what the hell is that shit? Like, who's in front of my house? And so that's how that whole thing started. And then it just kind of like took off. I was gonna say Google it. I sound like my dad. Google it. My dad tells me Google it. Dial it up on your phone. I'm like,
Dial it up.
that's what my dad is so old. I'm gonna write you on a WhatsApp right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, guys. So just go on YouTube and just put Tesla SLS or Tesla Ghost, whatever. You see a whole bunch of shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I wish I was there.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
It was pretty dope. Yeah.
That was one of our.
It was fun too because we're
experiments.
Like, we're in a Tesla. We're gonna take the shit.
No, and then I was joking with her and the reporter. Her name's Kiki, and her husband's name's Philip. So what's funny is they had me mic'd up because they were interviewing me. So then Philip, which is the cameraman, and Kiki's the reporter. So then it was Jenny and then one of our teammates, Franny, in the back of the car. And I forgot I was mic'd up. So I was like, hey, you know what? We should tell them that the same thing happens in a Lamborghini and see if they rent shit, like see if they rent it out. And then I can hear the camera guy, he's like cracking up. And I'm like, what? Did he hear us? And then he's like, yeah, I did hear you. And I was like, oh, I forgot I was mic'd up.
Like, you can hear us.
It was so funny. So funny, dude.
That's hilarious. I've never sat in a Tesla, so I'm already jealous.
That was my first and only.
Yeah, the first and only. We were able to drive it.
Yeah.
It's neat.
It was
if you're
fun.
into that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really care for the electric, but
Dude.
Yeah, me neither.
Never.
Right. But I hear the car itself is like the other than the aspect of it being electric, like all the gadgets and stuff like that are pretty neat.
Yeah, it's cool and it drives good. I will say that it drives good. But yeah,
I'm good. I'll keep my my gas.
Yeah, me too. I'm down with the gas. I don't really feel like driving an hour away and then having my car needing to charge to get the full battery for over 2 hours.
No.
So
no thanks. You can keep that.
Right. All right. You guys have anything you want to plug? Socials, all of it. Like
so everything is under 305 Paranormal. So TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Okay.
And Mr. 305 Paranormal on IG. IG, Instagram.
So he made that for so I wouldn't tag his personal account.
Okay.
So just to keep it the paranormal away from
right.
Just made,
makes sense.
Away from the family stuff.
And, makes sense. So do you sell these painted sneakers at all?
I haven't yet. I have done.
He's done some work for people.
I've done work for friends.
Yeah.
Like their shoes are the chipping away, or they need them re-glued. They're like, don't pay me. Just you're my friend or whatever. And they're like, no, here, at least take the money for the supplies. And then I would tell them, well, at least just to be, if you want to give me something, let me take a video of your shoes and me doing it and upload it. And they're like, yeah, no problem.
Right.
So yeah.
Are you thinking, is that something like a avenue that you're thinking of taking?
I don't want to promote it I can completely glue shoes, because for that you need clamps and things like that to hold the shoe still. But yeah, definitely actually custom painting them. Yeah, yep. I can do that. That's easy to me.
Okay.
You have to have a steady hand, and and a lot of these.
That might not give you a steady hand. I don't know.
A lot of those to stay up.
So I thought that I could draw really well at one point in time, and my buddy was just starting out on tattooing, so he let me tattoo him, and I do not have a steady hand at all.
Oh my god!
Uh-oh.
What did you? What was it?
So all right.
I love that.
I'll tell this story. It's all right. Anyway. So we both had been drinking.
So
I love the start of this.
We're communicating with the other spirits.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The other spirits. So him and I thought we were gonna be a rap group back then. And I was
Nice.
just turned 18, and we were gonna call ourselves Ghetto Boys. I know there's
Loving
already
it.
a rap group called that, but we thought we were gonna
Sure.
go that avenue. So have you ever seen the movie Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny?
Of course.
you you know how
Yeah.
he's like our band name's gonna be Tanuk, and he's like, what's that? He's like, it's a sign, and he has it like a birthmark on his ass, and then he's like, I have ass mark too, and they put their ass cheeks together and it spells out Tenacious D.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
have to
what
watch
we
this.
decided to do. So I got get on my ass, and then he got oh boys on his ass. And
This is great.
so
Wait,
when
did
we
he
put our
tattoo
ass
your
cheeks
butt?
together, it says ghetto boys.
Sonia,
I
did you
love
know
this
about
story.
this? Oh, I care.
Oh, you're muted, Tanya. Yeah. So
Did you?
She was so shocked. Well, she's speechless. There you go.
yeah. So I did so he did like perfect like symmetrical letters on mine, and when I got to his, it was like this big O.
Oh, shit.
And then the B was a little jaggedy, and then
Oh my god.
Oh, that's great.
man, it was a good night. I actually met my kid's mother that night.
Yeah.
She
Was she watching you?
she watched it happen. Yes, she
Oh
watched
my
it
god.
happen. She had brought because he was he was gonna tattoo her friend, so she had brought her friend over for him to give a tattoo to, and she walked in to me. I had a
Did she
beer in
change her
my
mind?
hand, and I was just sitting there like this, and I was like, yeah.
Oh my
He's
god.
just like,
Wow. That's such an awesome story.
And you're like,
uh,
I can imagine what she was thinking. She's probably like, nah, I'm good. I don't need this tat anymore.
probably, honestly, she thought she said that she definitely didn't see our connection happening that night.
Oh, wow. Oh my
I was
god.
like, I don't blame you. Don't blame you one bit.
It's bad
But
first impression.
yeah, then we ended up being together for 8 years. So,
Oh,
There you go.
but
some
we
type of
got
love
two
there.
beautiful children out of it.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
always a blessing. So
Yeah.
that's the best thing you can take out of that.
Yeah,
For real.
and it's a good.
How
It's a
old are your
good-
kids?
14 and 11.
Oh,
Oh wow, they're older. Okay.
yeah, they're older.
Yeah, and it's a good story because that friend has passed away a few years ago, so it's a good like remembrance or memory
Yeah.
to have of him.
Oh,
So,
Sorry to hear
sorry to
that.
hear that. Yeah,
all right, thank you though.
but it's a fun memory. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's
So
something
that's
funny
pretty
to
cool.
look
That's
back
very
at
cool.
and be like, hey, we had this
That's,
moment together.
That's a fucking time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a good night too, all in all together. So his
Awesome.
girlfriend actually is the one that was feeding me drinks, so I think she is partly to blame.
She's an accomplice.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh my god.
All right, guys.
Dude, when he saw his butt, was he like, bro, what the hell? Like,
Well, no, they were
yours is-
drinking, so he probably didn't realize. He probably saw it like
Well, I mean,
good
the
because he
next
was.
day, like,
Yeah.
like looking at his butt, he was like, yours is like nice and neat, and then his is like, what you did to my ass? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on here?
You know what's funny? He never really said anything about it.
Okay.
Like he never said that he didn't like it. He's like, oh, okay, thanks. He's like, good job. I was like, are you
How would
sure?
that say? Oh my
Oh
god.
man.
That's funny.
I felt so bad because mainly because of the O. So like,
Yeah.
like you got like this for mine, and then you got this.
Oh. Oh my god.
I kind of felt bad, but at the same time, I was like, whatever.
Should have been
Or
like,
the
look,
ghetto
not
boys.
too big, not too. You didn't give yourself, instructions afterwards.
Right,
Whatever.
right. I should have, yeah. But well, I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come record with us. I enjoyed the conversation a lot.
Yes.
Thank you for having us. For
Thank
sure.
you for letting us jump on
Yeah, very
this
fun.
platform with you. We had a lot of fun. we hope your viewers had fun with us as well.
Yes. And I would like to, if you want to like shoot the shit later on some other topics, maybe we can do a conspiracy thing.
Yeah.
I'll be down with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to bring you guys back on. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I think
then we can do a deep dive conspiracy.
Yeah, so far everybody that I've had on, I would totally have them on again. And I've actually become like I think the best thing that has come of this is connection with other people. And I feel it just in these simple conversations.
Yeah.
And just like a friendship and kind of like a bond between everybody.
Exactly.
And
that's what I like about this now. Yeah.
It's super rewarding, I feel like.
Yeah.
This in a way is the owner, Henry Lee.
Yeah.
This in a way is para unity, like what we did at Trenton, Florida.
Yep.
This right here, like the conversation we're having and just sharing our experiences, this is what para unity is all about.
Yeah. And other people, like how we were talking about before, you listen to podcasts and be like, oh shit, I've experienced something like that before. And maybe people are not as scared to like maybe talk about it later on. That's what opens that up, which I like that. So
yeah, that's one of the many reasons that I wanted to really do this, is because just talking with people that I'm around, and my sister too, like we've actually experienced stuff together, and just having somewhere to go to have somebody to talk to that's not going to be like, you're full of shit, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like
be
it's
respectful.
a nice outlet.
Right.
Right. All right, guys. I'm gonna hit stop record, so I just want you to know that I'm gonna hit it because I've accidentally hit stop record on some people while they're talking.
All right. Go.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.
Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky. When the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day, make a wish.